Author and lecturer Betty Alt is an expert on a topic that fills her classroom every semester at CSU Pueblo. The Mafia. Required reading for the course, Mountain Mafia, written by Sandra K. Wells and Betty Alt, a text that throws light on organized crime exploits around the state, including her hometown of Pueblo.
People would joke with us. They'd say, oh, gee, you're probably going to be kneecapped. Or I guess one of the standard jokes was you'll probably have cement shoes and be dumped in the fountain.
She's so far avoided such a grisly end for openly discussing activities that for many years were only whispered about.
I think people were aware of it. They just were afraid.
Months of research led Alt and Wells to names like Charles Blanda and Joseph Scotty Spinuzzi, controllers of gambling rackets and cited in reports and articles as Colorado crime bosses in the years following Prohibition.
It's been here, and I think it surprises people.
To find the beginning, one must go back to the early 20th century when a rush of immigrants arrived in southern Colorado to scratch out a living in the coal industry. Letters from a group known as the Black Hand would show up containing to-the-point messages.
You have money. We want it. This sort of thing.
Concluded with a threat of death for noncompliance. It continued into the 1920s.
When you look at the bootlegging era, that was the Depression. People were poor. If there was any way you could make a buck, you probably did it.
The period of outlawed liquor marked bloody days in streets across the nation and close to home.
There were people killed just like you see in some of the films.
In Pueblo, a battle for control of bootlegging touched off between the Donna family and the Carlinos from Trinidad. In a decade, the two gangs traded bullets and murders in legendary fashion.
Many times, imported gunmen were brought in from the east if someone needed to be, quote, taken care of, unquote.
And through it all, collateral damage, including the deaths of at least 4 policemen, arrests and convictions, nearly non-existent. Through the decades, Alt says control of the state's mafia elements changed hands between well-known figures in Pueblo at least 3 times.
This was a part of Colorado history that was very interesting.
And Alt says the book is written to detail the stories of those people who left a lasting mark on the city.
So far, we haven't heard anything negative from anyone at all.
As for many of the players, they're still in Pueblo today, many buried in Roselawn Cemetery close together in small family plots, discreetly placed, maintaining a low profile to this day. And as for continued activity, much has disappeared. There are still whispers, of course.
Let me put it this way, I'm not going there.
But Betty says readers should decide for themselves.